Let's give a round of applause for the Denver Center for International Studies.
Hi, Aspen Challenge. We are planting diplomacy. We are from Denver Center for International Studies, which is at Baker. We are an international focused school, and that led us to accept the challenge to become change agents and innovate an online dialogue for good. We saw this challenge as the most applicable one, and we knew that we could take this challenge to a new level, an international level. And I am diplomatic leader LeBron. I grew most in grit.
So I'd like you guys to take a second and reflect on all the negative impact in the media. Is that your fault? Here at Planting Diplomacy, we feel that it is not your fault, and that you can alleviate this negativity through the spreading of international kindness. To do this, we have made it our mission to plant the seeds of diplomacy through an online dialogue and diplomatic relations that transcend borders. I am diplomatic leader Keegan, and I grew most in grit by most in optimism by the management of social media.
So why is this issue important? Rude, thoughtless, and inconsiderate behavior has become a national norm in the U.S. that reflects badly on each of us as individuals and collectively as a society. If we were to trace back the conflict the U.S. has with Cuba and North Korea, it would begin with the countries not necessarily being kind to each other. This situation occurs in everyday life. Have you taken a look at the comments people post on social media recently? How is treating each other in this matter going to create communication that implements friendly and kindness? Kindness refers to being friendly and generous, while diplomacy means controlling conflict without the use of violence. The greater the kindness, the greater the diplomacy. Starting to implement the idea of kindness and diplomacy to our youth and adults can ensure the avoidance of future conflicts and mistreatment in social media. I am diplomatic leader Giselle, and I have enhanced the skill of self-control through leadership.
We wanted to make sure we were planting diplomacy on all levels, so we created a workshop and went to our local elementary school to work with the kids there. At first, we just started talking about kindness, but then we grew into an activity in which the students had to collectively decide on one color that was best for the entire class. They surprised us by demonstrating diplomatic skills that we see on our own Model United Nations team. They then used these new and improved diplomatic skills to write letters internationally. We are confident that when these students are old enough to use social media, they will do so diplomatically. I'm Katie Faust. I'm a diplomatic leader, and I have improved the most in Zest by creating this workshop.
So as an international focused school that is DCIS, we decided to not limit ourselves just to a local level of impact. So with the help of our students, teachers, staff members, and our travel center, we were able to find 7 countries who were interested in, specifically in our pen pal program. These countries are China, Japan, Malaysia, Libya, Israel, Palestine, and Italy. Okay. Through our social media, what we did is we posted questions, diplomatic-related questions, where anyone from anywhere could answer them, and really, we got really good responses. I am Omar Flores, and I am a diplomatic leader who grew mostly on social intelligence by creating connections between countries and individuals.
When we started this project, we decided to look beyond 7 weeks. And for this reason, we have decided to incorporate it into one of our school's core classes, Global Service Learning. This is a class that is comprised of both global leadership and cross-cultural communication. We feel that the 8th graders in this class will be able to continue to enhance the connections that we have made on the local level through the connections with our partner schools, such as Katie was talking about before, with DCIS at Fairmont, DCIS at Montbello, and DCIS at Ford. And we feel that the 8th graders will also be able to enhance our connections internationally. For example, as Omar was talking about, one of the countries that we've connected with is Malaysia. And we've connected with around 10 schools within the country already, and we believe that the 8th graders will be able to continue to enhance these connections. I'm diplomatic leader Jack, and I have grown the most in curiosity through our connection with Malaysia.
Along with many others, you two judges can help spread the seeds of diplomacy. Use the hashtag Planting Diplomacy and let us know what diplomacy means to you. I am diplomatic leader Imad Rashid, and I have grown through gratitude by seeing online comments.
At Planting Diplomacy, we plant the seed of diplomacy through online dialogue that transcends borders. We did this by creating a Facebook and Twitter page where we ask weekly questions. We will continue to sustain this through our Global Service Learning Unit. We, Planting Diplomacy, sprout future diplomatic leaders. To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. Help us spread and plant that seed of diplomacy. I'm diplomatic leader Oliver, and I increase through curiosity through the production of posters and flyers at our school. And we are Planting Diplomacy.
All right. Now I have the right question for the right group here. Can you elaborate on your experience with the Pen Pals program?
Yeah, of course. So one of the, as I said before, one of our most prominent connections has been with Malaysia, and so we have a travel center at our school, and we just asked her for connections, and so we contacted the Malaysian ambassador, and she gave us these 10 connections to these schools, and now we're going to pass those along to the students in the global service learning class, and they will enhance the connections.
And also, the kids in our elementary schools, they created letters, and we are going to send these to these countries and create a back and forth kind of system, Q&A with Malaysia, China, Libya, Israel and Palestine, and all the other countries that we mentioned.
How much participation do you feel you had within your school to do a lot of this outreach to like Malaysia or all these other countries that you listed?
Well, most of these connections came from school members. We had worked with organizations such as Building Bridges, Meet the Middle East, and our student body has really connected with them. So our student leaders connected us with their friends in these foreign countries, and we really had a big impact with this. A lot of kids felt inspired, did artwork for us. You can look at it downstairs in our exhibition.
They also posted a lot of comments on social media, on Facebook. You guys are welcome to go and visit it right now or anytime you can. And really, they posted a lot of really interesting comments about how diplomacy affects their lives or how it works in their lives and definitions and stuff like that.
How do you, saying be diplomatic is one thing, but people need to learn that skill. So how are you teaching that? Is that just through that classroom, or how are you carrying that on?
So we did it on a bunch of different levels. At our school, we teach our students what diplomacy is, and we have our MUN team is very prominent at our school. But then, and we have our GSL class, which they also do a model UN, little practice with them. But on our elementary level, we started with kindness, but then we did that little sort of demo diplomacy meet where it wasn't really, wasn't really talking about serious issues, but to them, colors are serious issues. So it sort of snuck them into learning diplomacy through that.
All right, DCIS.